This segment brought to you by Heinen Brothers Ag, farmers helping farmers by offering quality aerial and ground application, fertilizer, ag chemicals, and anhydrous ammonia. Call today to protect your crop yield.
Thanks for staying with us. Now let's join Kyle and Matthew Costello.
Hi, this is Kyle Bauer. San Diego have the opportunity to visit with Matt Costello. He's with Rabo AgriFinance, and he's from Australia, New Zealand, works in the beef industry there, an analyst for the industry. Your area has had the drought that we have been fighting in this country.
Yeah, absolutely. We're definitely probably following the same ship, if you like, or the direction that the US industry's gone through. We've had very, very challenging drought conditions through our key cattle regions. We've gone through the heavy liquidation of cattle. We're now at the point where the rebuilding has to happen, not necessarily because of improved seasonal conditions, but just because, we've depleted our cattle supply so much.
Well, exports are a large part of the U.S. production, but in Australia it's imperative.
Absolutely. We don't have the domestic market that the US does. We just don't have the consumer base there. So, Australia exports roughly 70% of what they produce, whether it be boxed beef or live trade. New Zealand's as high as 90%. So, we need to be proactive in looking at the overseas export market. So the one positive we have seen with very, very high beef production has been record export. So that has certainly helped ease a lot of the challenges. It's certainly meant we've found a home for our beef, and a lot of that has had to do with the US rebuilding their herd. So that lean beef supply that we've had, coming out at record volumes, it's been fantastic timing that the American industries needed that as well.
But part of that has also come from a strong dollar. Does the dollar affect your market, or are you pretty much in a completely different market than the US is? Well,
the currency's declined a huge amount in the last sort of 2 or 3 years as the Australian economy started to slow, and the opposite's happened with the US economy improving. So what we've seen is the currency now at around 70 cents versus the US or thereabouts. So from an exporting perspective, that's certainly helped cushion in Australian dollar terms, prices, and certainly helped support prices and made us more competitive on the international export markets.
Is the drought continent or nationwide for Australia?
Well, I think in Australia you just get used to farming in very difficult conditions. But what we have seen is the drought in the last 3 years has been particularly severe in Queensland and northern New South Wales. So they're getting towards the more northern states, and that largely has been a 3-year story. Not much rainfall, very limited grass. So producers, unfortunately, for a lot of them have had no choice but to sell stock at very low prices.
We're visiting with Matt Costello. He's with Rabo AgriFinance. This is Kyle Bauer reporting. Back to you, Jamie.
Don't go away. Next, Kyle catches up with Craig Uden, Vice President of NCBA.
Grain sorghum is one of the most important cereal crops worldwide, and Kansas leads the nation in its production. Over the years, sorghum has been either exported, used in animal feed domestically, or for other industrial uses. Recently, its use in the ethanol market has seen tremendous growth, with 30% of domestic sorghum typically going to ethanol production. Kansas Grain Sorghum is committed to sorghum research, market development, and education. Learn more at ksgrainsorghum.org.
Ag Promo